Dear colleagues, dear organizers, we introduce the topic of our study, Cloud Service Blogger as effective communication tool of teacher and students at the university. Authors of the study are Dmytro Bodnenko, Tamara Fedyk, Alexandra Lokaziuk, Volodymyr Proshkin, Olena Korzh. Please pay attention to the slide and acquaint with the plan of our study. We reviewed a number of scientific papers based on which we formulated the definition of blogger. Systematic and long-term work with Blogger service made it possible to highlight its advantages and disadvantages. Survey of participants in the educational process of Boris Grodchenko Kyiv University was conducted. To implement the study, a number of stages were performed, from the formulation on the title and the choice of design to the content of the blog. Experience of using the Blogger Cloud service in the educational process is given. The implementation of the educational process in terms of social distancing encourages the search for alternative forms and methods of communicative interaction between teachers and students. Effective means of communication aimed at minimizing gaps in communication between participants in the educational process become especially relevant. One of such tools is a blog, a notable cultural and social phenomenon that, due to its popularity, ease of use and creation, has a significant impact on today's youth. The advantages of the blog, which are especially important in a mixed form of education, include the ability to work on an internet project of several people, openness and availability of information, interactivity, providing feedback and reviews from users, students, applicants, and teachers. Therefore, we consider it appropriate to analyze the features of the blog as a means of communication on the example Cloud Service Blogger, who doesn't require additional software, to explore the practical application of the Blogger Cloud service in a university environment. To find out if blog as a form of communication meets the needs of society, the service Blogger was chosen, because many people are users of gmail.com's inboxes, which allows free access to all of Google's cloud applications. Blogger is a leader in the means of publishing materials on the internet, the creation of so-called weblogs or blogs. Scientific papers provide various definitions of this service. For example, the most succinct of which is the definition that Blogger is a website whose main content is recordings, images, or multimedia that are regularly added. Fedyk gives a more detailed definition. Blogger is a blogging platform formerly known as Spiral Labs, which Google acquired in February 2003, a web tool that allows you to quickly and easily post messages on the web. After analyzing and summarizing the definitions offered by scientists, we derived the following definition. Blogger is a free blogging service that allows you to freely blog, meet and communicate with new people without resorting to programming and without worrying about installing and configuring software. Systematic and long-term work with Blogger service allows us analyzing its advantages and disadvantages. The study focused on aspects such as accessibility, administration, appearance, functionality, and interaction of the blog with other platforms. The Blogger Cloud service allows one user to create several blogs at the same time, about 100 for one user, which in turn indicates a number of additional benefits: a wider range of problems coverage, mutual advertising between blogs, more audience coverage. Instead, the service has an imperfect procedure for moving files between blogs, as it is not possible to share images. The next attractive aspect of using Blogger is its accessibility and that it is free. A significant bonus for users is the ability to share one blog. This allows us, the team of authors, to co-create content and maintain the collaboration. Users share many services, and it's Blogger that can allow a niche to be hosted by several people. Another important feature is backup. All users can save their own data and thus secure it. So the Blogger Cloud service is the best platform for those who want to start promoting their own blog. Analysis of the needs and desires of students and teachers of the Institute of Philology of the Boris Gromchenko Kyiv University has become decisive in choosing the topic of the blog, which is implemented within the research of the Blogger service. During the implementation of the study, the stages that were passed for the successful launch of the blog were identified. Stage 1. Formulation of the title. Stage 2. Choosing a design. Stage 3. Selection of topics. Stage 4. Determining the frequency of publications. Stage 5. Defining the target audience. Stage 6. Building a model of blogging strategy. Stage 7. Approbation. Now let's look at each of the stages in detail. Stage 1. Formulation of the title. When choosing the name of the blog, we were guided by three, in our opinion, the most important features: accessibility, functionality, and content. That's why the blog was named Students If. Stage 2. Choosing a design. Blogger series can only use standard templates, which are quite limited. A few options for posting, choosing colors, setting your own main photo block. In our opinion, the logo of the Student Self-Government Council correlates most accurately with the name of the Students If channel. Look example. It reflects the most important values of a student of the Institute of Philology: a book, sleep, Wi-Fi, and coffee. An associative series of words that are necessary for the full existence of each student. The introduction of common values evokes emotions in all those involved in the educational process, which increases the likelihood of their involvement in the readers of the blog. Stage 3. Selection of topics. The content plan of the blog Students If was developed based on the results of the survey, look at slide, and contains four main thematic areas. According to the results of the survey, the most interesting to readers, 75.9%, is information about events in different directions of Kyiv and Ukraine, the first thematic block. The second most popular was the thematic area related to the events of active students' life in the Institute of Philology, 71.3%. Another important aspect of interest to potential users of the blog Students If is related to changes in the organization of the educational process, 60.2%. Changes in the schedule, the transition to distance learning, urgent headmaster, and more. The fourth thematic block is the current state of science and the place of students in it, 33.3%. Stage 4. Determining the frequency of publications. The survey showed that the majority of potential readers, 72.2%, believe that placing publications in the blog Students If should depend on the availability of news at certain time periods or reached in events, so we consider it best to disseminate information in the order of its receipt. You can see it as slide. Stage 5. Defining the target audience. Stage 5. Defining the target audience. Among potential readers of Students If, which is the focus of the blog, can be divided into three major groups: students, research and teaching staff, and entrants. Stage 6. Building a model of blogging strategy. During the implementation of research and work with a cloud service blogger, considering all its advantages and disadvantages, we have developed the scheme that contains step-by-step instructions for creating your own blog. Stage 7. Approbation. The relevance and demand for the blog Students If was tested among students of the Institute of Philology of the Korzh University. To determine the level of communication with users of the Students If blog, a survey was published on the format of study in the second semester, which was attended by over 1,500 readers at the time of writing, which testifies to the relevance of this blog and its further development. Analysis of students' responses showed that the majority, 68.2%, want to resume full-time study in the second semester, but 22.7% of these applicants are convinced that lectures should be left online. Some respondents, 31.8%, prefer distance learning. The results of the survey were passed on to the administration of the educational unit and can serve as one of the key arguments when deciding on the format of education in the future. Increased activity on the Students If blog was the impetus for the launch of the Blogger Cloud service in the educational process. First of all, we tested this service on the educational program Ukrainian Language and Literature during the implementation of the mandatory component Methods of Teaching Linguistic Disciplines. The task was to create and fill the teacher's educational blog as one of the ways to present theoretical information. The functioning of the Students If blog for 3 months was productive and effective. This is confirmed by the analysis of the enrollment of applicants at the beginning of the school year and after a few months from the launch of the blog. Attention to the slide. Looking at the chart, we see that the figures have increased significantly. We're convinced that the further systematic work of the blog Students If will have a positive impact on the formation of a conscious and active student movement. We invite you to read the results of our study. The study confirmed the relevance and feasibility of using the Blogger Cloud service for communication between teachers and students at the university. First, analysis of definitions of blog and blogger gave grounds to formulate own definition which shows the functionality of these terms. The advantages and disadvantages of the Blogger Cloud service have been identified. Among the advantages are the following. One user can have several blogs, page filling and management can be done by several authors. A number of additional opportunities that open up through collaboration with Google, etc. Disadvantages include the limited number of design templates and tools. 2. Having found out the desires and needs of potential readers through a survey, the stages of creating a blog using the cloud service blogger were identified, which meet the needs of users and helps to raise awareness of higher education students about the organization of the educational process and active student life. A blogging model has been developed in the Blogger Cloud service. 3. Successful approbation of the blog Students If among students of the Institute of Philology of Korzh University was confirmed by Fisher's test. This shows that Blogger is an optimal platform for organizing training, quality communication of higher education institutions with applicants. The blog also helps to improve the level of information and consideration of students' opinions, serves as a platform for discussions, consultations, etc. Prospects for further research we can see in the development of methodological recommendations for the use of Blogger Cloud service in implementing practical classes at the university. Thank you very much for your attention.